Thanks for joining us. That teaser you just saw was for an upcoming Disney Channel show called KIF, but we are here to talk about a different upcoming Disney Channel show, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Really excited for this one. For those of you who don't know, this is a series based on a hit Marvel comic book, and it is about a 13-year-old super genius girl named Lunella and her 10-ton T-Rex Devil Dinosaur, classic combo, who protects the Lower East Side from danger. So shout out to New York City, baby. Yes. And the show premieres February 10th on Disney Channel. And we are so lucky to have some of the cast and crew with us today to talk a little bit about the show and get us excited for what we're going to see. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce some of the panelists here with us today. First, we have the voice of Lunella, aka Moon Girl herself, Diamond White. Then we have the voice of Devil Dinosaur, Fred Tatasciore. Very nice. And then we have the voice of Lunella's grandfather, Pops, Gary Anthony Williams. And then executive producer Steve Loader is here. Steve. Supervising producer Rodney Clouden. Notice the Marvel sweatshirt you got, so your headquarters, very cool. And finally we have Pilar Flynn, producer. No need, everyone take your sweet time. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you.
And in addition to Steve, Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is executive produced by Helen Shuglin, who could not be with us today, and Lawrence Fishburne. And Lawrence Fishburne actually has a recurring voice role on the show as well. He is the Beyonder. So, yeah, it'll be exciting to see and hear. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So first thing is for Steve. Tell us a little bit about how the show came to be.
Sure. Well, it starts with Lawrence Fishburne in a comic book store. He did his, weekly run to pick up new comics every Wednesday, and was drawn to Brandon Montclair and Amy Reeder's run of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. He was drawn to it, picked it up, fell in love with the comic. Called his producing partner, Helen Sutherland, at Cinema Gypsy. They made blackish, brownish, mixed-ish, and said, we gotta make a show out of this. So called...
But without the name Ish on it.
Without the name Ish. Called Marvel, called Disney, and when you get a call from Cinema Gypsy, you take that call. And deals were made, and here we are. They gave me a call because I have, in my career, I've done a lot of strong female protagonists. I was a producer-director on a show called Kim Possible. And interestingly, Lawrence and I, we got the vision for the show, and we said, this is it, let's make this thing. And so here's the thing, so that's the history of the show. But today, we have something really special to share for the very first time. We have the main title of Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, that we're gonna watch right now.
So obviously from what we see in that teaser, we're going to talk about the characters and the music, obviously, because those are very defining parts of the show and that intro, but the artistic style, the animation style, I think is really immediately striking. So for both Steve and Rodney, can you talk a little bit about how you guys came to land on this very graphic, colorful, vibrant style for the show?
Yeah, well, first, we started thinking about what New York is. New York in a lot of animated shows has been misrepresented. And New York is not slick. It's not shiny. It's grit. It's got edge. It's got history and architecture and everything. So we thought about what would be the best way to represent New York, and we thought about the graphic style, thought about graffiti. Talked about street art and idea of Basquiat and Warhol. So you can see that there's a little bit of like the offset kind of screen printing things that's going on with all the color design and everything. So we also wanted to be a character, but we didn't want to distract from the actual characters that are animated in front of the screen, but be just as fly.
And the characters themselves are done in a very, pen and ink, hand-drawn style, because we wanted it to feel like an illustrated, moving comic book.
Yeah, it definitely gives that vibe, and I really appreciate you mentioning the New York inspiration there with the graffiti. I noticed that really comes up a lot in the show itself.
Yeah, we use actual graffiti artists to actually do the graffiti, so that's why I think it looks heads over heels better than a lot of shows that do graffiti.
Did you guys try to chase them away as they were doing the graffiti?
It's not. So Steve obviously mentioned the characters, so we should get into that. For the cast, starting with Diamond right here, our moon girl. Tell us a little bit. And I think you sing the song too, right? So tell us a little bit about Moon Girl.
Well, Moon Girl is one of the smartest girls in the Marvel universe. She is the first teenage girl black superhero in the Marvel and Disney collaboration world, so that's pretty cool. We made history with this, and I'm so honored to be Lunella is obsessed with all things science, quantum physics. She loves music. And she loves her beloved dinosaur that she brought out of a portal. They have such a unique bond, and she takes the time to actually learn your language, so I understand you completely. And I do. What about those hot dogs? Those hot dogs. He's saying he loves hot dogs. And Libe isn't here, but she plays my best friend Casey. Casey is this superstar of social media. She tells Lunella when to post. She actually helps her become the superhero that she is. And technically, Lunella doesn't have any superpowers, but her brain is her superpower. And she is the girl to say that one girl can make a difference, and it's okay to be into quantum physics and science and to be a little weirdo, because I relate to that as well. That's why I love this character so much. I relate to her being the one weird kid with her head in her own world of science and things like that. So that's Lunella.
Definitely, I think a lot of people relate to being those little weirdo science nerd
It's
girls.
okay to be weird. It's better to be weird.
Okay, we heard a little bit from Devil Dinosaur, but I'd like to hear from Fred also.
All right, thank you for translating that. Yes, well, wow, what an honor to be part of this in any way. Devil Dinosaur is, I've been familiar with him before in the Marvel comics. I did not know Lunella, but I knew about him by being playing Hulk and him having a past. And it's a very interesting part to play. First of all, he has a T-Rex, or a very large animal who loves Lunella. He will do anything for her. He is a 10-ton dog, basically. And while he's a force of nature and he's powerful, his heart is even bigger, and he loves painting and music and watching movies and cuddling. He's got a good heart.
Sounds like I'm listening to your dating app.
I know, he's a Pisces. In his realm, on another dimension, it's a different sign. It's and we had long walks on the beach. And he's just, and they are a team together because he trusts her implicitly because she took him on. And even coming in from another dimension, he didn't want to go back there. He wanted to stay here with her and be at home with her. And that's the approach with him.
I always love the girl and her dog kind of comment.
No, but we are more than girl and dog. We are partners. We are partners in crime. Yeah.
It's a family, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about Pops, my granddad.
Oh, what a first of all, great segue. Queen, smartest girl in the Marvel Universe, also queen of segues. Hey, I'm Gary Anthony Williams. I play, thank you for clapping for all of my names. I play Pops, which is Lunella's granddad. And the thing about him, this whole Lower East Side situation, years ago, Pops had opened up a roller skating rink on the Lower East Side because, and this is taken from truth, they would have roller skating rinks, but they were mostly white, but the black people could come on soul nights and nights like that, so it was very segregated. So he decided for the community to start a roller skating rink where everyone was invited. And he started this back in the 70s, and he's still running it to this day. And he could sell it off, of course, and make millions of dollars as real estate on the Lower East Side, but he keeps it going for the community, for his family, for the family that is the community, and the community that is the family. A super loving dude, and I basically mirror his voice character after mine. I'm him. Yeah, I'm a very loving guy. I don't take long walks on the beach, though. I refuse to walk. I need to be carried everywhere. Yeah, he was a roller skate king back in his day, and just like him, his granddaughter, Lunella, is fascinating and amazing on roller skates as well. So that's pretty much Pop in a nutshell. Very loving, very family, very community-based kind of fellow.
Yeah, I feel like this is the perfect show to be kind of introducing at New York Comic Con. With so much of your character stories are ingrained in New York. And Rodney, I know that you were a big hand in casting the characters, so
Big hand.
for casting these particular actors in their roles, what drew you to them? I'm especially curious about Diamond, knowing that she is this multi-talent, being both Moon Girl and then also singing. This is a character who is just as much about her science as she is about music. So what drew you to these actors?
You pretty much said it. She's a multi-hyphenate. When Diamond auditioned, that was it. It was pretty much she encapsulated Moon Girl. She encapsulated Lunella, particularly. There's a heart, warmth, and genuineness, and a little sass attitude that's needed. But she, is very talented, and just when we're in the record, she delivers, and it's just always fantastic. And Fred, you can't have an animated show without Fred Tatasciore.
You mean legally you can't? Fred will sue you. He will sue you if you don't hire him.
Yeah. I've got people. It's okay. But Fred is just magnificent. He's got 4 different throats in his. So he can make all these noises. But what's great about Fred is that he takes this role seriously to that point where in the scripts he asks specific for the lines, the actual dialogue for him. So he's not reading devil grunts, but he's devil's grunting. I'm not sure about this, Lunella. And then he gives that. Yeah, just like that. And then we ask him, can we do a little bit more softly?
Don't worry, devil.
Wow.
And Gary came in as a hero because we had Pops, and some, I don't know, I don't even want to talk about what happened, but Gary.
I want to know everything.
And Gary came in and just took the part and just ran with it, and he's as smooth as his head.
Literally never been described as I'm as smooth as my head. Y'all see Gary? Yeah, he's smooth as his head, man.
But you can't deny that voice. That voice is silky, man.
Thanks, man. It has been a 100%. I got to tell you, there's nothing like the comfort of being in a booth when these people are in charge and just letting you relax and have a good time. So, kudos to you guys.
Yeah, truly. Thank you. You guys are the best.
I can tell you guys really do care about these characters so much already, which is really cool to see. And I want to throw to Pilar. So I'm curious to you, there's obviously diversity, community, as Gary said, the cultural aspects of the setting are so core to the show. And I'm curious to you, I'm curious if you could talk more about the importance of reflecting the real world and the diversity within it, inside of the show as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so important to all of us in leadership because we knew this was going to be a really important and special show, and we not only wanted to tell the story of this little black girl as a superhero in a beautiful and high quality way, but we also wanted to tell it authentically and as inclusively as possible. And because so much of us in leadership are diverse ourselves, I myself, I'm a Latina, it was our mission, from the beginning, that we were going to cast authentically both on screen as well as behind the scenes. So I'm so proud to be able to say that most of our crew is actually made up of women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ+ community, and we also did something really different on this show, which was we made it really collaborative, and we invited our entire crew to speak up, to weigh in, to give us ideas, to tell us if something didn't feel right, and I think you can really, really feel that in the fabric of the show. And actually something else that was very exciting to me that's different is that the majority of our writers' room, and actually our current writers' room, is 100% female. Actually, our amazing story editor, Caitlin Hall, is here with us. And she is an incredible team of women who just bring their authentic selves, and just talking in the story room about what it was like when we were 13 or what we wish we'd seen on screen has been so refreshing and so different. And like I say, I think you can really feel that passion and excitement on screen with the characters and in the stories we tell.
Directors.
Oh yeah, and our directors are all currently female directors as well. Our supervising director is Ben Delano, and he was also responsible for bringing them on, training them up. So I'm so proud of our team, and we did not take no for an answer when they said there were not enough diverse people out there that could do this show. We were like, we will find it, and we did.
We done there was our Alan, he did a lot of research in terms of just tracking percentages in terms of how much of a certain group is represented in the episodes and the show. So it was really scientific.
Yeah, because we wanted to do it right. We realized even though we were a majority diverse crew, we even have so much subconscious bias ourselves. So we took, a page from Gina Davis, and we were like, all right, we're gonna put it in black and white, and it was amazing when we laid out the data, what was missing. So anything that was missing, we tried to fill as much as possible. So
And also in terms of just not just the main characters, but the people that live in the city. We know in New York, looking at the crowd right now, how diverse it is. So we paid really close attention to that in terms of really representing the diversity that is the city, So that was also important. Even just what you wear, Timberlands, Air Force Ones, it's that represents New York.
yeah.
So.
Now, our goal and mission was for each and every one of you to see yourselves in our show on that screen. And if you don't, let us know. And we'll make sure it's in for the next time. But
That's awesome to hear, especially as a woman of color. And Diamond, I'm curious for you, knowing that this was the crew that you're working with behind the scenes, did that feel comforting to you? Did it lend anything to creating this character, knowing that the people writing her were also women and people of color?
Yeah, as women, it's hard. So for this show to be backing women and to say, hey, you get the stage now is like incredible, because I don't think that's ever happened. Like, we are really doing something here, aren't we? We're really doing it. Yeah, but no, I'm so grateful to be on the show. The audition process was, I went through 3 rounds, and I was like, God, please, I really want this role. Like, and when I got it, I was like, yeah, we really are about to change the world with this. Like, I'm honored. Oh my God, it's incredible.
That's great. Fred and Gary, as our men on the cast, repping the men on the
Yeah, but we're in touch with our feminists now.
What inspired you to join the show? You spoke so well, Gary, about the community focus. I really like what you were talking about. But what other elements of the story and the characters really drew you to this and the roles?
It's multifaceted. First of all, everything you've mentioned, this is such a culturally relevant, wonderful thing to be a part of in any way. I was just so honored, just from the very get-go. And then I just love the idea of making up a superhero and a partnership, a team that was unlikely. And seeing that develop, and it was a challenge. I also, the other side of it too, was just playing this character. It's a very musical kind of thing to do, because it's like you got the script and you're now going to sort of break it down into its components, as what the sentences or what's the emotional content. And so that was the artistic, as a voice artist, that was a really fun challenge, because I love doing that kind of work. And so it was, I guess we started off with a T-Rex or a scary dinosaur, a very scary thing, but how can we soften it out without going all total Scooby, which I love. But so a lot of it, we kind of try to find that pocket. And we work together, all of us on it, each it's like going up, it's like a music job. You go up with this little broken saxophone. Lunella, we gotta get to the ocean. Okay, that was too English. Let's go to, and then making less desperate, and then we'll layer it, work with Sam Riegel, our wonderful voice wonderful voice director. And we just kind of, we sometimes will layer stuff together, mess around with it. I don't know what you guys will select. We just kind of like do 3 or 4 or 5 takes, of each line, and then see where it goes. So artistically, it was a wonderful thing to be a part of too.
Yeah. For me, sure, you may as well clap for Fred. Because again, we have lawyers who will sue you. For me, honestly, that family thing is so important to me. Like, family means everything to me. So that's number one. Then reading the script, I was like, wait, this is amazing. I did not know the comic book at all. So this is amazing. So I secretly call a friend of mine who's huge into comic books. He's like, wait, you have a chance to do that? You need to jump on that immediately, number one. And then after that, my very first day of recording, it was the first job that I had during COVID. This is the first time that we've all kind of been together. Everything else has been me sitting in my home, in my booth, and I think your booth is probably made out of solid gold. I don't know. I don't know how it works with you. But then I did a record with her, the very first job, and I had trained my girlfriend to be an engineer. She was my engineer at home, and she heard Diamond's voice, and she was like, "Who is that?" I was like, I don't know her. I don't know who that is. She's like, she's amazing. Like, her voice coming on the other side, like, I had no choice but to be good. Like, I better be good, because her work in here is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. Yeah.
And then you mentioned the family element too. That's really it. Is they have their established family, and then the family.
We have our trio.
Yes, we have our trio. It's really neat.
Yeah, and it was really important to show a Black family dynamic in a most positive light. You have multi-generational grandparents, parents, and Lunella, so you get these different varying point of views and experiences. So just to see that, yeah, because you don't see that really in that animated series. So it's important just to show that.
And I'll tell you how weirdly, too, this world came together. So my daughter-in-law on the show is Tatasciore Zamada, and I literally flew here late because I just got hired to play her dad on another show. So it's like, keep being family. And I hadn't told you this, but I'm your brother.
I'm glad you
I was going to say I'm not your father, but I'm not.
No, I'm glad you know this now, because we were going to talk. Okay, I'm glad you know. This is good.
Another thing that really draws me to the show is that, like, growing up when I was younger, I didn't have a black cartoon to kind of watch, and to see a 13-year-old who's like mega smart and not like ashamed about it is like incredible. And you get to watch her go through a lot of things that black girls go through. Like, there's an episode where she wants to like straighten her hair, and like it goes awry, and like that happened to me, you know. And but yeah, it's all of her experiences are genuine and authentic. They're real things that black girls go through, and I needed that growing up.
Painfully relatable episode. Don't like that. No, I love it actually. That sounds amazing, and I'm so glad that a show like that can exist now for the diamonds of the future, the diamonds of tomorrow. I think that's really cool.
And on top of all of that, it's just good. Like I just got to watch some yesterday for the first time. I hadn't seen any of it. And it is so pleasing to the soul with the family thing, but to the eye, what you guys did with the animation is it is genuinely good. If I'm wrong, ma'am, you can come up to me after you see the first episode in February and take it out of my wallet. If I'm wrong, you can have everything I own. Everything, I don't care. Yeah.
It's $5 Canadian money.
I have all the Canadian money.
This production was 100% done during COVID, all remote. So, you know. Yeah.
And huge shout out to our partners, Flying Bark in Australia. They do all the animation over there. We just went to visit them, and it was such a soulful experience to all be together. We all feel like family from, across the ocean, but they do an amazing job.
Yeah, it's the first show I've worked on where the music, the art, the animation, and the acting all are equal. They actually support each other, not just like in the background. The background is a character. It's the first thing, it becomes an immersive experience. It really is. It's the first time I've seen that, and the amount of music going on.
Shout out Raphael City.
Actually,
Different genre.
Steve, yeah, I wanted to talk about the music because it is so important. And Steve, I know that you work very closely with Raphael City.
Absolutely.
So
here's the thing. I've been a fan of Raphael Sadiq's music since Tony, his writing, his producing, his solo albums, everything. It's just absolutely brilliant. And so I thought, this is the only guy that could do this show. But, he's working, he's in demand, and it felt like, oh man, we're never gonna be able to get him on the show. So I figured, I gotta do kind of the one-on-one experience, So he was doing a record signing at a store in LA. So I was first in line, and I brought my record, and I handed it to him, and in the 30 seconds it took him to sign the record, I pitched him the show. By the end of those 30 seconds, he was signed onto the show. So I got a signed record, and I signed him onto the show. So here's the thing, you always hear, that old saying, like, don't meet your heroes, and it's wrong. Meet your heroes because maybe they'll do music on your show.
Also, meet your heroes, but take a contract with you.
That's true, that helps too. But I gotta say that Raphael's absolutely amazing. We send him the scripts, he's doing all the songs, he's doing all the score. So we send him the scripts, he reads the scripts, and then he'll, call me back and say, all right, what's the emotion here? What am I keying in on? He really wants to get kind of like really between the lines and really figure out the emotional core of each song. I mean, people throw around the word genius maybe freely, but I gotta say, Raphael Sadiq is an absolute genius.
100%.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm saying all these things about him, but maybe it's just better for him to mention it. So can I introduce Raphael Sadiq?
wait to come to your next signing to get you to sign on to some stuff.
Yeah, it was different. I didn't know if he was LA. I mean, a lot of people that not who they say they are. So we took his card and then we looked at each other like, is this guy real? It's real. I'm here.
Thank you for being here.
Everybody, seriously, tell us how every week we talk to you and launch you in a new song or a new direction, and every week you give us something that is just next level beyond the previous one. And we're constantly like, how does he do this in a week? Like, it takes us so long to animate something.
Well, every day is, for me, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to work on a show like this. So honestly, I don't know how to do it. I just don't ask myself any questions. You guys call and I look at it and I just do it. That's how my career's been. I never really know. When people say, the sky's a genius, no. I heard one of my, a person who I like a lot, Prince, people called him a genius, but he said, no, I'm not a genius, I just practice a lot. And so that's what I do. I just practice a lot. When you get the phone call, you just have to be a person that shows up and is ready for the challenge. And this crew gives me a huge challenge. Like the show is great. Like you said, Diamond's amazing. All the cast is amazing. You look at all the animation, and you can't drop the ball. I can't be the guy that drops the ball on the team.
So you're saying that you gotta stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
That's right. You gotta be ready.
And you guys, seriously, the music is so sophisticated on this show. What you bring to it just adds a whole extra layer of character that levels up beyond anything I've ever seen in animation. So it makes us so proud of it.
We're leveling up here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's like I said, it's a great show. I love New York. He told me, New York. I get to write to all the, the animation, the graffiti. I've been coming to New York since I was probably in high school. Walking through Queens, and Tripod Quest is like family to me. So I've been coming here since I was in high school. So I know the city, I know how to make the music work, and I'm just glad I got the opportunity to make it work and just to be around these great people. And it's a great cast of people. Being in the music since '86, I've been playing music in the music business, but it's different working on the show. And I've been scoring for about 10 years, but this has been the funnest show to score. It's Moon Girl.
That is great, and we're so glad you joined us to talk about it. The lights are on because I think we're going to start Q&A very shortly. But before we do that, so if you guys want to get lined up, the mics are on either side of these aisles here. You guys know what to do. You go to Comic-Con, you know how this works. But before we do that, I think, Steve, you have one more thing, the post-credits scene, if you will.
Yeah, I got some interesting things to talk about. So first off, I'm very happy to announce for the very first time ever, we have been greenlit for season 2. We haven't even had a show that's aired yet, but everyone that's seen it on the Disney and Marvel side said, we need more of this, keep going, please make more. So we're excited about that. And here's the thing, so Rodney and I are from New York, right? And so it was really important for us to make sure we got New York right. We got the message right, we got the visuals right, we got the feel, the vibe, and the tone right. So, we would like to share with you the first 2 minutes of the first episode. And so what you're going to get in this clip is a song by Raphael Sadiq, Where You Come From, which is a love letter to New York and neighborhoods and where you grow up. So I would like to present the very first 2 minutes of Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
This show means a lot, and it hasn't even come out yet. And so I found out about this in February, they showed all the characters, and I was like, what? And then I found out Lawrence Fishburne was playing a reoccurring character. I was like, Boys in the Hood guy? And he's playing Blackish too, and I was like, oh man, we got this. Oh man, I'm ready.
gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah. Steve, I think you know what question I'm gonna ask.
It's a beyond a related question, correct?
Yes, it is. What is his deal, man?
Okay. I gotta say, the Beyonder is one of my favorite characters in the show. And this character was crafted in association with Lawrence. So Lawrence wanted to do a voice in the show, and we were trying to figure out the best thing for him to do. And when this character kind of came up, he's like, all right, I want to do this character, but I want to craft it. So we would be in the voice booth, and he'd be trying a bunch of different voices and trying to work with that. And then we were designing the characters, and I'd be like emailing designs daily, and he'd call me up and say, hey, can we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that? And so yeah, it is a fully realized character, and easily one of my favorite characters in the show. He is a mischievous, godlike character. That is not friend nor foe to Lunella.
So like a frenemy kind of?
It's like a frenemy. He has a big arc, and he sings.
Whoa!
So
Lawrence has a good voice.
yes. So prepare yourself for a Broadway-style musical number written by Raphael and performed by Lawrence Fishburne.
That's even better. And like you probably saw on Twitter that I draw my own little icons, and one was of the Beyonder in like a vampire style. It took me all night. Procreate, man.
You're gonna love him. You are gonna love this character.
And like I showed this to like my mom and my grandma, and like my grandma's like, you look. I was like, they're like, you look like Lil Nas X, and I was like, and like I showed it to my mom, she's like, huh, and I was like, yeah, he looks so freaking cool.
Oh, he is.
And I was hoping we could get like a clip of him because I wanted to see like. Wow.
Not yet. Not yet. He's too good to reveal too soon.
Amazing. Well, thank you, super
Thank you
fan.
so much.
All right. We have someone over here.
Hi, this is a question for the cast. I was wondering when it came time to record your lines, if the final like animation style had been worked out, so you kind of knew what the how the lines would pair with the visuals, and if not, now that you have the finished product, to work with, whether you might tweak things a little bit for season 2.
We don't have anything to go off of when we first go in to do the lines. I know what I do when I get in the booth. I turn into a 9-year-old freaky little girl, and I'm just like screaming the whole time. I have a lot of fun recording this show, but the times that we do get to see the animation is when we do ADR, so we have to fit the things into the words into the animation. But I think after I saw the first episode and I saw the banter between me and Casey, a lot of it was improv. I was like, oh, we just have to keep doing more of that because it shows their friendship really well. And honestly, after seeing the first episode, I was just like, oh, I gotta get crazier. Like, I gotta juice this up, as Lunella would say. How about you, Fred?
Yeah, I would say I saw a little bit of some sketch, drawings and some concept art, but really I didn't. It was like a radio play, but now I'm recording alone, like I said, and I'm crazy in the booth too. I literally am acting out even with the claws, doing the thing, kind of trying to imagine what that would be. It was a lot wilder than I realized it was going to be. Like the art really drove the art is a character, like I say, in the piece, and seeing the kawaii-cons, all these emoticons.
Oh my goodness, do you know what kawaii is? Like kawaii figures?
Little emoticons
It's like
that come out. Yeah, there's little emojis that come out of, and now that I didn't know that was so prominent. I thought that was just going to be used a little bit, but now that I know that there's such a visual component, and also even when she's explaining quantum mechanics or physics, we're seeing the diagrams and how it works out, and it's so visually stunning. So again, I agree with you. I want to get a little crazier, a little more highs and lows with the emotions, because now I know what we're dealing with here. I get it informs you of that when you see it full. Great question, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much the same. Saw just a sketch of him from the beginning. Had no idea that the animation was going to end up looking like that. But the second they show you a little piece of animatic or something like with some motion, like, oh, that's really it. It definitely informs where you go with it. Lets you know, like with my character, oh, he's very smooth on his feet, so it really it takes you there, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, man. Great having you.
I gave you the but I didn't know.
And over here.
Hi there. First of all, Gary, I'm a big fan since Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, thanks, man.
I have a contract I would love for you to sign after the panel.
What now?
I have a contract.
Oh, you know, I'll sign anything. I don't have common sense.
So I did have a question that was kind of brought up, but I'll switch it up a little bit. So, you know, the Beyonder, and I know I saw Aftershock is going to appear in an episode at some point, and like, these are pretty obscure characters within the big picture of the Marvel universe. Beyonder has barely been represented outside the books. I don't think Aftershock's ever been represented outside the books in any way. Can you talk about the process of, or the decision making behind pulling some of these like really obscure characters into this world? And then, is the show episodic? Are there overarching storylines? Like, what does the show format kind of look like?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, Marvel has been an incredible partner on this project. We request to use certain characters for certain episodes. They'll sometimes send us a list of, you know, this character's kind of waiting in the wings. Can you do something with this character? And we do like some of the deeper cuts. We do like those characters because it gives, like you just said, no one's ever done this in a film medium before this particular character, so we can do something new and fresh with them. So yeah, it's been a great process. And as far as episodic, there is serialization. So there's definitely an arc. There's a longer story going on, and yeah, it slowly kind of unfolds over the course of the season, for sure.
Rodney, I'd love if you had any insight or thoughts to picking those characters and specifically why those characters.
Well, you know, they usually revolve around the storyline, and then, like Steve said, usually we might get a character and say, can we use this character? And like, now, how about this character? And then it'd be like a really obscure character. And the thing about it is that since it's so obscure and deep cut, that it gives us the latitude to really shape it and form it into our own Moon Girl style.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm someone who's just starting to get into the animation industry, and as we've seen a lot online, if you follow news, a lot of stuff has been cut lately. It's been kind of dark times. So hearing that you guys with such a heavily representational show is getting second season, it's amazing to hear. It's so encouraging, and just to see all the, especially when you mentioned the artwork about the graffiti and all of the comic book-like style, it's just so cool to see that people are still trying to experiment with styles and trying to keep the animation industry interesting, even though things have become tough. I wanted to know if any of you guys have any words of encouragement for anybody out there who may have been starting to feel hesitant lately about being an artist or being a writer for these shows, and so we can keep making content.
Yeah, well, I would say, well, first of all, keep trying, don't give up. I can tell you, as someone who didn't even come from America, I didn't even have a green card, to be sitting up here on this panel, I can tell you if it's possible for me, it is for anyone. Another fun story is another shout out I want to give is Rafael Chavez, our producer, is here. He started as a security guard at the DreamWorks Features. We were both PAs there together, and now he's producing the show. And every day we just talk about how we can create more opportunities now that there's more diversity up here. Just more people are passionate about bringing others up with them, and not just like giving them a handout, but rather giving them a bridge and mentoring them into that level. So my main recommendation is find someone that can mentor you, or join an organization that will believe in you. So Women in Animation especially, we just did a mixture with amazing Next in Animation. There's so many different organizations, and they are literally made up of people that want to support and help you and pull you up. So find that tribe, find that group that will raise you up and raise up with them and create a show with them, and one day you'll be up here too. Thank you so much.
And also, watch our show like Moon. Watch our show. Give us ratings. Give us more ratings. They'll keep making more shows that are more experimental.
That's right.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Manny. First of all, to state, I grew up watching your work. First off, Kim Possible, grew up with that. And I'm currently loving your other work, The Ghost of Martin McGee.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, natural too. But I've been looking forward to this show forever. I love Marvel and I love animation so much. But this one is for Fred and Diamond. We know that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur make a great pair. I was wondering how would Moon Girl work with Hulk, because I know, Fred, you also do the Hulk as well.
Yeah. Well, you're saying Devil before?
How would Moon Girl and the Hulk work together?
Oh, wow. That would be interesting.
I
Well,
think Devil would be a little jealous.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. One thing to know is that Devil is very loyal to her, but also can be very protective and can be very, very jealous. There is an episode about a pet hamster that he is jealous of and accidentally loses. Yeah. And so, then action ensues. So yes, I believe, Devil and Hulk did have a past, but it was at first contentious and then friendship. But I think Hulk would be impressed with Lunella, and just be like, and the fact that she can communicate with Devil Dinosaur. Will you tell me what he just said? Oh, I know he's talking about me.
He's looking for the nearest hot dog stand.
Oh, all right. Well, let's find it.
Yeah, so and I think that's how it would go down.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi guys. So funny enough, my name is also Diamond.
Hey girl!
I just want to say thank you for making this show. Like, it's so important and so impactful. I'm actually born and raised in the Lower East Side, so when I saw the Lancey, I was just like, oh my god. I was curious, like, how was that process sort of like researching the Lower East Side and like animating that, like with your voice acting or like making music? Like, how do you really capture the Lower East Side as its own character? Like, I'm just so excited for that.
I spent a lot of time in New York when I was around Lunella's age, and just like walking around. And my favorite thing about New York is like people look you in the eyes and you know, like if they just know, they don't care. And I love that. The grittiness of just like, hey man, I know you're a human, but like I have shit. Ooh. Fixing my not
You have ships to get on to go to another.
She's got another job.
The ship.
I've been here for too long. I'm already gritty. No, but it's that. So that's what I add to Lunella. She's very like, I have to juice this up right now. Like, I don't care what's going on. The LES needs help right now. Okay, Devil. Like, she's very much like, let's get to it. Let's get it done.
That's a fun question. I actually am curious, is anyone on the panel from New York?
Only born.
Yeah. So why the Lower East Side?
Well, the Lower East Side was in the comic. But also, I have to admit I was a West Village kid for the most part, but, still Lower East Side I was very familiar with, so that was all my stomping grounds. But yeah, I just love New York. It's just, the thing is, for both Rodney and I, it was the artist environment. I mean, because we were here in the mid-late 90s, right?
Yeah, I come here to go to the Lower East Side in the Village, and when I was in Brooklyn, I would come here because it was just like a whole different vibe, and really artistic feel to it. Yeah. I get my paints from here too.
Yeah, Pearl paint, yeah.
All right, thank you, Diamond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
How are we doing, guys?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. My name is Adonis. I actually wanted to ask Raphael. I'm a huge fan, and hearing your music in the show and like really hearing how important music is to the series and to the character. It's really uplifting for me because I think that music, especially when you're talking about African American culture, is so important. Like hip hop, soul, R&B, it's all ingrained. what were some, I know you mentioned Prince before for you personally, but what were some like influences that you kept in mind while creating and crafting and composing the score for the show?
Well, for the most part, I would get like, we call temp music before, I would actually work on the music, and they would send me like really great temp. They send me really great temp music, like hit songs, hard songs, like songs if I reproduced them almost like, maybe I should keep it for myself. So they challenge me every week. So when I think about it, I probably think about people like, more up to like Nile Rodgers, Sheik, who, when I was a kid, I used to go to his concerts at the Oakland Coliseum. For tempo, I would think about that. A lot of jazz, a lot of like Thelonious Monk, or, we have some jazz pieces, we have some orchestral pieces, we have some, we're all over the map, Laura East, I'm like Tito Puente, I'm thinking about, all type of Latin music, Cuban music.
And you sing.
Oh yeah,
some of these
I sing.
songs.
I think we did Bill Withers. Bill Withers. I sang with. I guess I can say that right.
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, a song. For me, it's about also. I grew up watching a lot of cartoons, and I think I learned about melody and music just by trial and error. Your parents at work, you go to school, you come home, key latch kid, and you plug up the cartoons on, and just so these cartoons would have like these huge orchestras on them. All these, these TV shows like Taxi and the Jeffersons and Good Times had all these great melodies in them when people were singing like, the great late Donny Hathaway. So I think I wanted to be able to give, kids music that they could like actually listen and hear melody and instruments, guitars, real drums, real guitars, real basses, tubas, violins. Also, I work in a box like I work in Ableton. It's a lot of different plugins. So I'm sort of mixing and matching a lot of different music. And I'm really excited about it because I really want to give some kids 8 or 9, 10 years old to hear music and say, you know what? I don't know what I'm hearing, but by the time they turn 13, they go, this is the sound I was hearing. That's what I was doing as a kid. I was listening to Motown, and then all of a sudden, I become, 40 years old. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make a Motown record. And so I wanted to. This show gives me the opportunity to give something back to the community of the youth. 20 years later, some kid is putting out music so you can listen to real music.
One more question. So, no pressure.
Right? You're right. My name is Teresa, and I'm from New Jersey. And
No disrespect to you.
right?
You'll know what that means when you watch the episode.
Right, exactly. Which I saw the turnpike sign for New Jersey, so yay! Actually, I have 3 questions. One, has any of you ever read comic books when you were kids? 2, does Devil Dinosaur likes all kinds of music, like pop, rock, heavy metal, the whole 9 yards? And 3, what was 3? Now I forgot 3. Okay, so I got 2 questions.
We only have time for one more anyway.
Very New Jersey of you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I think we can answer the Devil Dinosaur one real fast.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, correct.
And then
Devil has his own mixtape. There's a couple of episodes where he has, and his musical style is a little bit different. Surprises Lunella just a little bit, but it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. And then did any of you read comic books?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Still.
Oh yeah.
Still.
I was more of a cartoon freak on television. Like, there's not a cartoon that I did not watch. My cousin Greg gave me all his comics. I didn't understand them. I was too impatient to read. But there's not a even now, before I go to bed, every single night, I put on cartoons. Every night.
Do any any of you have any pets?
Any pets?
Dogs, cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a little Maltese poodle. Pepsi! Hey!
Two beautiful, cute Scotties and a leopard gecko.
My 16-year-old dog has left me now, but I do have a lot of mosquitoes.
Take care of those, though. You feed them, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
2 dogs for me, Cassie and Bowie.
It's got a 9-year-old son.
I used to have a cocktail, but he passed away. So now I do have 2 little girls who love the show and are obsessed with the songs, by the way. So already.
Yeah, I had a lot of pets, but they're all gone now. 4, me and Rufus, a ton of them, it's like family.
I have a cat. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here.